Welcome back, Paladins fans, to the Expo stage here. My name is Hi-Rez here, joined this time by Mr. Hi-Rez. How about that upset, huh?
I was not ready for Australia to go that hard, man. I could watch Joelz play Knessa for days. I can't wait to see this next set. Because, first of all, is Latin America going to step up? I don't know. But if you're ready for this next set, you can actually get some sweet drops in the chat.
That's right. Just for hanging out, we want to give back to you guys. If you haven't already, head over to hirezstudios.com/link. Get that set up. We played the tutorial video for you during break, and you get that just for being in chat with your account link. That is free stuff that we are just going to give you just for hanging out. We just want to thank you.
And with those drops, you can then check out the in-game store for the Hi-Rez Expo digital loot pack, which has some really sweet stuff in it.
Yep, 3 skins, 2017 convention, Ying, Hi-Rez Expo themed Victor, and Fernando skin sporting that Tahiti Paladins blue, as well as the shield from Fernando is really, really cool. Has the Hi-Rez Expo logo crested there.
Yeah.
Front and center, some sprays, some MVP poses. All that good stuff is available for you in-game. But back to the series at hand. It will be Abyss up with the doubleheader this time against Nocturns Gaming.
That's right. So Abyss, I mean, I think they're high off of that win, right?
Yeah.
We would have, and I think I did for sure, expected Eager to have a fairly dominant showing in that set, and that was absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
There were some times where they had control of the capture point. There were some times where they were looking good, but it never came to fruition at all. They couldn't take a single game, and now Abyss moving forward, I think they've got the momentum. So unless Nocturns come in hard and, you know, are really impressive, I think it's going to be a very tough match.
Yeah, and the schedule shows 3-0 for Abyss. They were very hard-fought games for, except game one. That was pretty swift for
that was pretty swift.
There.
Swift engines.
But Eager were able to make the adjustment. Now Abyss looking so strong against Nocturns. Can they step up? We'll head on over to the map draft to see where this series will unfold.
That's right. So it looks like Ice Mines and Timbermill have been removed. I love the Timbermill ban because we saw Joelz' Knessa, we saw the Shaolin. They're both excellent on that map, so just get rid of it, man. You don't want to deal with a sniper team on a sniper map.
Absolutely. Frog Isle will be the selection for game number 1. Nocturns, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but they were the first team to qualify out of the international scene. It's been a long time since then. Latin America and Brazil have extremely large competitive scenes comparatively to the rest of the world. A lot of competition popped up in between then and now. Nocturns hit some speed bumps, stumbled a little bit in some of the weeks of the EVE's Winter Classic. Were able to scrape out a win by the end of it, but not anywhere as dominant as Abyss out of their region.
That said, from what I have heard, they are considered the best team out of Latin America. They're a great representative to come to the Hi-Rez Expo and represent the region, right? But I think it actually is in their favor that they've had some trouble. That means their region is strong, which means that they could be very strong, right? Yeah, they're not complacent, but they've also got competition. You cannot grow if you're in isolation. You need other people to learn from and practice against. So I'm hoping that Nocturns can really show us something special. Yeah,
competition is very important. We say they stumble, but they only grow stronger from that sort of things. And, you know, comments made by Zapman earlier, they just played the team out of China. They said the potential is there, but the competition is just lacking in that region. So competition going to be something very important. Abyss, very strong throughout. Only dropped, I think, didn't drop a single game throughout all of their qualifying process here. Frog Isle, a lot of hazard zones. So we'll be looking for some knockups, maybe a Bomb King, a lot of Makoa on this map, very present. We'll have to see as we head on over to the champion draft for game number 1 between Abyss and Nocturns Gaming.
You know, on my wish list for this draft is going to be the Bomb King. It's great on this map, and we've seen it before here, but he's just such a crowd pleaser. In fact, I know one person in the crowd who especially wants to see a Bomb King, so hopefully she gets her way. Makoa picked up for Nocturns, and that's just a solid first pick. We've seen it all throughout the series. I would expect to see Ruckus Fernando, and this is just sort of the meta, right? This is shown up in the tournament, and I think you're going to see it more or less all throughout the rest of the games.
So for a designer with a lot of players complaining to you about Ruckus, what's it like to make no changes to Ruckus and have him be picked in every game except one?
Clearly, it means that I'm smarter than all of the players. But that's not really the case, right? The metagame changes, and what's good here might not be good, you know, in ranked or in your casual games, but these players are playing a specific way against specific teams, and Ruckus has turned out to be a really high priority pick. And that's just how this sort of evolves as we go. Shaolin, another massively priority pick. I personally cannot play him at all, but it is nice to see Eevee contested for once, because previously she hasn't really been contested. It's one team plays Eevee, the other team plays against Eevee, back and forth every game.
Big pickup there for Nocturns to get joshkent off of that. What will he play in response to this? Locking in Androxus, I believe, for the first time today.
I want to say that's joshkent, right? Like, I feel like Joelz is more of like a long-range type of player. I feel like joshkent is like diving, go ham, fight people in the face, and that's what Androxus does, right? He has a different method from Eevee, but he still goes very hard, and he's still going for those kills on Shaolin and Cassie.
Nocturns with a really strong draft.
Please give me Grok.
Overall, Grok is going to be hovered on right here, but it's going to be
It's going to be Grover.
Locked in. Bless up, ladies and gentlemen.
Bless up.
This works well for Eager, you know, for all intents and purposes. They did end up losing, but Grover founding a lot of good area denial, just chucking axes. I think going to be at the Shaolin, at the Ying, at the Cassie. Those in the back line looking to keep themselves safe, and just great area control overall.
I like what Abyss are doing here, because I think they're challenging Nocturns with their draft. They're saying, okay, we've got one traditional carry, Androxus, and we've got a Ruckus. So Androxus is going to go do his thing. He's going to just shoot people with his revolver. That's what he does. But I think the Ruckus is the linchpin of this composition. He's supported by Fernando to shield him. He's supported by Maldama and Grover to heal him. And I think they're saying, we don't think you guys can kill our Ruckus.
Absolutely. I'd be inclined to agree with you. Nocturns just having the Makoa to hold down their front line. And Grover, he's another character, you know, he's just not really susceptible to Eevee. He's going to be staying near the Fernando, near the Ruckuses. Haydz' defensive Fernando plays, his shields have been absolutely insane, mitigating so much damage, keeping his back line safe. And I think Eevee is really going to have a tough time finding her way, finding a target. Androxus, the only one I expect to see isolated from a lot of these team fights, and he's going to be flying around in the air. It's just not a good look for Eevee.
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, I said it's all about the Ruckus, but the problem with his composition from Abyss is they don't really have a long-range damage threat.
Not at all.
The closest thing is Grover. So actually, I'm going to disagree with you. It's not at all. They have Grover, right? Those axes are going to hurt, but that's more about filling space and saying, hey, don't come through here. You know, it's more about taking advantage of someone like Shaolin, who is relatively stationary when he's really trying to do damage. But it's not the same as having a Cassie, a Shaolin, or a Kinessa, or a Victor, or someone who is just gunning people down from range.
Not quite reliable, but area denial. See if he can be strong enough there. Maldama, I'm just interested in the double support. I don't think we've seen double healer come out just yet, or not fully dedicated
We did yesterday.
But
we
saw a Pip, I think, in addition to someone else.
No, we saw, I think, was it Black Dragons do it in their third game against Matchpoint? Yeah, it was. Skullist went to one of the tanks. They had 3 tanks, 2 healers. So they went super defensive, and it just didn't work out. I think they were just trying something different, which is fair, right? You're up against the wall, you try to change it up.
It'll be interesting because Grover doesn't bring a whole lot to the table in terms of crowd control once Cauterize comes online. And we saw that come through in a big way for Abyss in the previous set. Grover's ultimates were shut down time and time again by Cauterize 3, doing absolutely nothing to the team fight.
That's right. So that Cauterize 3 does need to come online for Nocturns fast. But honestly, Crippling Throw is pretty good here. It's great against Ying. It's really great against all of these characters, right? Because they all... You can always anticipate, well, not always, but you can fairly reliably anticipate when they're going to use their movement ability to get out of danger, when Cassie's going to dodge roll, when Eevee's going to soar, when Shaolin's going to use withdraw. If you hit that Crippling Throw, they can't do it straight up for like 2 seconds.
Sure, my only concern is that Abyss don't have a way to displace Nocturns gaming. They don't have a way to put anyone really out of position. Not a lot of displacement coming.
Which is very strange on Frog Isle.
Yeah, it is. And I think Haydz on this Fernando, being that they have 2 frontliners, they have the option to leave one on the point. Haydz has shown that he can play in Fernando in just about every play style imaginable. Defensive, offensive, in your flank Nando. And I think he's going to be pairing up with what we assume to be joshkent on this Androxus to keep up the flank pressure, keep the squishy backline from Nocturns under heat.
You know, I think it's going to be Joelz on this Ruckus. I feel like he's the dude on the team, and it's like, all right, he's here because he's got awesome aim. That's what he does. And Ruckus is a character, even though he's a frontline, you can really take advantage of aim, similar to Maldamba. But let's get this started. Nocturns Gaming versus Abyss in Nocturns' first set of the day. On the blue side, it will be Nocturns, etaceH on Shaolin, Fariul on Ying, Godman on Cassie, Klauzinho on Eevee, and BATTLETOAD on Makoa.
Joelz will be on Grover, Haydz on Fernando, joshkent on Androxus, Alston on Maldamba, Kronicx on Ruckus. Both teams clashing immediately. Haydz headed straight to the backline. joshkent falling low. joshkent going to be first blood in this game. Makate able to be taken down as well. Godman finding some free fire into the backline, but a lot of bursts from Abyss is going to shut him down.
And now Abyss is getting pushing forward very hard. And while Nocturns did find a great early kill, they're just not able to hold this point. And here's the thing: you lose one of the tanks, you lose one of the supports, they've got backup, they've got more. Even joshkent falling, Kronicx was just able to cover his role and put out that damage. Abyss will capture the point. They're going to push forward, and it's looking solid so far.
Copious amounts of sustain from this Abyss composition. They're going to have to win this quick, though. They're going to be strong at the start, but they'll fall off as these cauterizers start to come online. Nocturns have already picked up 3. This Ruckus pushing forward, shredding through these shields. Doesn't have the Wrecker online just yet. Nice impale stun onto Maldamba. Alston will have to feed him. There's the hook off the map.
Oh, no.
Potentially, no, they're able to follow up. Great ability to control the space. BATTLETOAD will fall.
That's right, and now joshkent in a bit of a pickle. He's going to retreat around to his team, but Eevee dives in, looking for the final shot, and it will be the face-to-face trade, 1-for-1 there. But I'm looking at this Ruckus player just pushing forward. Kronicx is unstoppable. He will get pulled, though, and etaceH actually shuts him down, and it seems like Abyss is falling.
Godman rolling forward, uncontested. Haydz gonna burn him down. Joelz is here. Akate chunking through this Fernando shield, 1 arrow at a time. They're going to break it through. Dredge Anchor will pull him back into position. Trying to get out is Haydz. Klauzinho with a big shot onto joshkent. Will send him back to spawn. Abyss are going to need some time to regroup.
That's right, Abyss needs to group up and go back in together. Makoa pulling someone on the right, and Makoa actually might get picked off here. He's a little bit low. Shell Spin gets him back to safety, but Nocturns have taken some poke. They've lost their Shaolin, and this could be an opportunity for Abyss as BATTLETOAD falls as well.
Moving forward now, joshkent relatively quiet this game thus far. Can't find a super great angle into the back line. The rolling death machine. Hexafire comes out from on top of the payload. Double kill without any setup from Kronicx there. The aim is good. Triple kill and the spray. Paladins Invitational. Ladies and gentlemen, go get your digital loot packs so you can make the plays just like Kronicx.
I love the way Ruckus was just yelling pew 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 as he's absolutely dominating. The payload cart is so close, and Abyss will be able to convert it with that last kill up 2-0, but we said they're strong early game. Nocturns need to hold out. It is not hopeless yet. If they can hold or capture the next point, they can get 3-1 and they can start to recover as those items come online.
They'll need credits to do it, and sitting way at the bottom of the net worth chart there. Ruckus almost doubling the net worth of Eevee, leading the damage chart as well. So it's going to be tough to get these cauterizers online. Still no cauterized 2s coming out from Nocturns, all level 1. So that sustain is going to be just as strong as it was in round 1. And a big thing that Haydz is able to do is get his shield up, wait for those cauterizers to fall off, and then the burst healing from Grover largely negates all of the anti-heal from Nocturns.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. Grover's so good at healing his team at just the right time, but Nocturns heading in all at once around the left-hand side. They've got some Master Ridings, but they are dismounted. joshkent is in the middle. A pull on Ruckus. Dread Serpent going down.
Absolutely getting up in the air. joshkent looking for the angle. He's going to find the stealth, though, from Shaolin. Will mitigate most of that. He falls down in the end. All things told, joshkent still looking for more in this fight. He's so healthy. Has the angle on Cassie as well. The duel. But Haydz is there. So good on this defensive Fernando on the 1v1.
Did joshkent hold for long enough? He's got 75 health, but will fall. Godman picking up another kill, and now it's point time going the way of Nocturns. The Ruckus is back, but the Ruckus will fall as his health is so low. He doesn't have the mobility to hold out. And now Maldamba has returned. Grover putting some damage in, but Nocturns isn't in formation, and they need to be. They need to be in formation to abuse their composition, or it's just not going to work.
Ancient Rage coming out. joshkent going to eat some of this with reversal, able to get away. Haydz returning to the point just to try and contest, just to get overtime ticking through. He will fall shortly thereafter. Nocturns with a chance for the comeback play. There's the repulsive field from Ruckus, mitigating a lot of damage, but Planet is just too much. Nocturns take down Kronicx and capture the first payload.
And that's an example of excellent counterplay. Ruckus does not have mobility outside of advance, and once it's been used, Planet will just light him up. It's Hecate playing very well there, and I think he's going to be an anchor for his team in this game. Though he will fall to joshkent, who is the anchor for Abyss and needs to go big on these kills, like this Hexafire, going big, but not getting enough.
2 kills, maybe there. No, will fall down after just finding one. BattleToad extremely low. joshkent in the backline right now. Needs to find shots. Missing 3. Fariul actually able to trade out with him. The support getting on the board on an 8 streak right now.
Man, what changed in this round? Nocturns is pushing forward so strong, and previously they're just pushed back. But Fernando diving in, he can start to slow down the team here, though Haydz falls as well. Godman falls, and now it's just a bloodbath. Abyss is starting to stabilize, and they're going to look for the zone, as it seems like Nocturns wants to regroup and push in for one last attempt.
Abyss forced to trickle a little bit there, and that's where their team comp starts to fall apart. They operate much better when they are grouped up. Record 2 coming online. It's a lot of pressure from etaceH here. Shell spinning in now as BattleToad trying to get this fight online for Abyss. The Whirlwind is going to mitigate a lot of that damage. Haydz is falling really low, though. One more shot from etaceH is going to send him back to his grave.
Godman is so solid in this fight, and there's no one looking at him. He's just getting shot after shot as Klauzinho. We haven't called his name much, but he's going really big. Grover in trouble, and Grover is going to die to the EV with just one last shot. Hecate able to clean up that kill for his EV player, and now getting very close to the objective is Nocturns Gaming. They could tie this up 2-2, which I believe would be the start of an upset.
They have to be careful, though. Abyss need to stabilize here, need to come out as 5. Haydz finding the first pick in this engagement. BattleToad falling very low as well. It looks like Abyss are starting to stabilize. 2 for 0 in that engagement.
That's right, and now Abyss holding off. They're zoning, they're pushing forward with 20 seconds left. It's going to take nothing short of a miracle for Nocturns to push this in, especially because they don't really have much mobility aside from Evie. She might be able to force the overtime, but it's only 10 seconds left. joshkent has fallen. He didn't have his dash, and he's off the map. That's a huge pick, and now Nocturns are surging forward.
Double kill for BattleToad there. There's the Planet coming out in the backline. 1 second left. Overtime sent through by Godman, but he's taken down shortly thereafter. Abyss finds 2 for nothing. Surging forward is etaceH. Haydz finds another one. Doesn't have Planet. Has the impale. Needs to find the stun, and he will. Still falling lower and lower. Haydz is shredding up the backline of Nocturns.
Nocturns couldn't quite get the conversion. They couldn't get the 2-2, but they still played very well in that round. They've started to close the gap in terms of itemization as we see Cauterize come online, as we see Wrecker 3 on Hecate, which is huge because
Absolutely.
Wrecker works during planted. If he sees a shield in front of him, he can absolutely destroy it as long as he doesn't die, because the cost of planted is standing still.
Definitely, those Wreckers are really, I think, what's swinging things back in favor of Nocturns. The defensive play, not that it's not there from Haydz, but that shield just falls so quickly to the combined pressure from Godman and etace's now. Wrecker 3 hitting for over 2,000 damage a shot. Fully charged against Fernando shield. joshkent still with the chance to go big. Has the accursed arm available to him. Looking for the angle. Heading way around the backside. Haydz needs assistance from his team. It's going to be there. Planet is punished by joshkent.
That's right, Dread Serpent going down, and it looks like joshkent is going to follow that up with a nice kill. Evie in trouble as she ice blocks, and Abyss is grouping up on the point, doing some nice damage here is the Ruckus player, and look at how he's unloading into the tanks. This is what Ruckus excels at. Big target in front of him, he's going to destroy it.
Yeah, Abyss totally in control right now, 63%. Fariul poking his head out around the corner, but Abyss are getting the angle. A lot of this poke coming out onto Kronicx. A lot of healing, though, still coming through from Maldamba. This Shaolin does not have Cauterize. A big pick from Evie. Abyss able to hold control of that point the entire time, able to take that 4-1. That just shows how important those first round conversions are, because they put themselves, even with that defensive point, they can capture just one more and they can take the game.
But here's the thing, what happened that game, right? Round 1 with the conversion, okay, I understood that. I saw what was happening that game. Round 3 with the capture to win, that makes sense. But round 2 seemed like it was cut from a completely different game. Nocturns were playing on another level. They were pushing Abyss back. What was that Abyss like? Just relaxing too much, or was it Nocturns just finding an advantage, finding a loophole that Abyss then closed in the third round?
Nocturns, I think, caught Abyss a little bit off guard with their records, how quickly they were able to take down Fernando Shield and really sent Abyss into a trickle, which is very bad for their comp that is designed to work all together. In round 3, though, we've seen the mid-game adjustments come out and be very, very tight from Abyss. They were able to, I think Haydz baited everyone to clump up very effectively for joshkent to just terrorize them with a cursed arm.
I mean, it's just an amazing ultimate combo, and that's all you need when you're at that 3 out of 4 point line, right? All you need is just one good ult combo, get control of the point, zone, and you're done. So it's so difficult to have your back against the wall like that. It's so difficult to come back when you've already given up a payload push. But let's talk about this Ruckus player. We talked about it yesterday. Ruckus is a big force in this tournament, and Kronicx was no slouch on this character.
66,000 damage, 160 objective time, top credit score. Actually, only second to Haydz there, who was just getting a lot of work done in the backline as well, mitigating a lot of damage, 108k shielding in just a 12-minute game. But yeah, so much damage from this Ruckus, and a lot from the Grover as well. We mentioned a lot of area denial coming out from him. 44,000, pretty much tied, slightly ahead of joshkent and Jiraxis, but not a stellar performance from joshkent.
You know, I think he had to be, like, focusing people specifically, right? We did see some misplays for sure as BattleToad pulled him off the map. That was a fantastic play on BattleToad, taking advantage of a misplay. So as we go to the next map, the question is, are we going to see Nocturns on a map where they can take advantage of all of those, you know, displacement moves and try and get people off of ledges again?
Absolutely. We're going to head on over to the map draft here for game number 3 between Abyss and Nocturns. Looking so strong, or game number 2, excuse me, on Jaguar Falls. Abyss taking game number 1, 4-1. Jaguar Falls, pretty different in terms of point layout. Much more closed in, much more corridor based. A lot of flankers excel here.
Yeah, you know, if you showed me the Abyss team composition for last game and didn't tell me what map it was on, I'd probably guess Jaguar Falls or maybe Frozen Guard, right? Somewhere where you're locked in, you can't really get shot from range, and you're just going to be like, hey, we're super beefy, we've got great healing, we've got great damage, and as long as you're not outranging us or pulling us off of cliffs, we're not going to die. But there is a cliff on this map. It is somewhat close to the capture point, so, you know, BattleToad was playing awesome around those edges, and he could definitely do that again.
Absolutely, he'll be looking for that one. Cassie could scout that out with her ultimate. Jaguar Falls, only one real cliffside on this map for the most part, closed in. A lot is determined here in the drafts for these two teams. Can joshkent get back on Eevee? Nocturns did a great job, I think, taking that away. Klauzinho struggled at first, I think, but he really had a pretty good performance on that towards the end.
That's right. I don't think his Eevee was on the same level as joshkent's, but I think it was definitely good. It was a force in that game that helped Nocturns out a lot, and I think the value of putting Klauzinho on Eevee, unless he shows us that he's, you know, amazing on some other character, it's worth putting him on Eevee to keep joshkent off of it.
Definitely. Absolutely tearing Eager apart with that, and really where the international teams I've seen struggle is that forward zone there. joshkent was extremely effective at that. A lot of teams, I think, just afraid to give up that pick. They don't want to be isolated and alone without their teammates operating against 4 or even 5 of the enemy team when they're really not used to being in that situation. But the forward zone was so strong for Abyss, can buy you so much time. We saw on Frog Isle, Abyss won one team fight in that final point and were able to capture the entire thing without any further contest.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what can be so dangerous around these beefy, tanky compositions, especially with Ruckus, right? He's a character that I think excels at snowballing. That's why we saw that top damage coming out from Ruckus, because his team is in a dominant position, and he's able to just freely kill tanks, and he's one of the best characters in the game at doing so.
Yeah, just shredding through Repulsal Field. A huge team fight cooldown, very easy to manage, though, with communication. It can be so effective, really good against things like Androxus. I mean, we saw it coming out in the Match Point series yesterday during Evo Mojos, keeping all those little chickens alive for just the few seconds that they needed to buy time for. But likewise, it's a very momentum-based pick, so, you know, when you're down, you're going to be down big with Ruckus.
Yeah, what's the counter, right? Like, you know, you look at a tank like Mako, and there's some good counters to him. He's got a very big head, which helps out characters like Ruckus a lot, or even Kinessa. But Ruckus doesn't really have a big head. You actually have to shoot the goblin inside the mech, which is pretty cool. But, you know, who really works well against Ruckus?
Hard-hitting characters. Shaolin's planted, you saw, was shredding through even the repulsor field. Drogos is a good option. He's hard to track as he's flying around. And hey, you know, Dragon Punch is always the answer to a tanks, but not a lot of Drogos contest coming out at all today or yesterday. Very rarely picked up. Cuss Cutie, I think, was actually the only one to play it yesterday.
That's right, and we didn't really see it go off. Maybe we'll see a Drogos this game. Let's head into the champion draft for Game 2 of Abyss versus Nocturns Gaming.
Abyss up 1-0, 4-1 they scored in the first game. Gonna hover and lock in this Fernando. So just watching this team draft for a few games here. Huge prioritization on both Eevee, but even bigger prioritization on this Fernando. Nocturns will respond with the Eevee locked in first, hovering the Makoa. This has been a fairly popular pick as well. That's likely to be locked in.
Yeah, I think that's the correct response here. The Makoa is so good for Battletoad. Take away the Eevee from joshkent. Klauzinho can certainly play it well. They do lose Shaolin though, and that's gonna hurt because Shaolin was very, very strong for Nocturns, and it's very, very scary on Kronicx.
Yeah, Joelz and Kronicx both able to play that. The Bo brother and sister there, Cassie and Shaolin, have been devastating for these teams here. And picking the buck, hovering that, I don't really like it from Nocturns into Shaolin. Planted is extremely effective Impaler arrow at just shutting down Buck the second he lands. It's a very telegraphed when he comes into the fight. And Drox is picked up as well. 3 flanks for Nocturns. Abyss can just totally draft around this with things like Ruckus and just going for more point-heavy stuff.
I feel like Nocturns has to be trying to just make the Shaolin feed, right? Because that's really the only target I can see that flanks excel at killing. You could argue Ruckus is a better option, but he was picked after the triple flank. So, you know, they very clearly saw someone out of Fernando, Shaolin, and Cassie and said, let's go triple flank and let's kill them. And I don't think it's Cassie or Fernando.
If Abyss just take these fights slowly and make sure they just spot everyone out from Nocturne, spot every flank coming at them, Nocturnes are really going to have to spread out here, be isolated. Not a lot of sustain. Eevee can look after herself. Buck can look after herself. Even Androxus does fairly well for himself in the sustain department. They're going to need to. Ying and Makoa, however, going to be largely all alone, I feel, should it come push to shove on the capture point. On paper, I really like Abyss's comp more. I've never really seen triple flank work out.
You know, we'll see though, right? Nocturns Gaming in that last set, or that last match, they did very well in the second round. And if they can just pull that off again, find that magic mojo, they could definitely upset Abyss here, right? I don't think this is a team that is destined to get hit with the 3-0.
Yeah, with a draft like this, though, Abyss, if they just stay away from the point, Nocturnes are forced to come to them. Nocturnes can't fight at range whatsoever. And likewise, they can't just sit on the point and capture it either because this composition is not designed to do that. It's a high mobility composition. Triple flank coming out from Nocturnes. We'll have to see if they're able to pull it off in game number 2. Akate is going to be on Androxus, Fariul on Ying, Godman on Buck, Battletoad on Makoa, and Klauzinho rounding it out again on Eevee.
Abyss, we've already seen them, but I do want to note they've got 5 Havens, so I don't think they're threatened by this Eevee. Going into the fight and diving in on the front line are the tanks from Abyss, but Joelz is in trouble, and he will fall immediately. Hecate once again with the first blood.
Huge shots from joshkent, hasn't missed one yet. Eevee falling extremely low. Fariul with a double kill on the point. Unable to use their range as Abyss. They're getting in close with Nocturnes and falling. Fariul with 3 kills for the support in that fight.
Ying is just so good at doing damage at the right time. If you hit all of the shots from her burst of laser, you're going to get bonus damage, and it hits very, very hard. She's not doing damage over the whole fight in the same way that, you know, a true carry would, but in those small moments, she can deal a lot of damage.
Forcing his way in now is Haydz. Fernando. joshkent rolling not far behind. Back in control of the point are Abyss. Nocturns, however, already scoring 84% of that capture. Won't have the roll available for him, but very low in the back line is Battletoad. Split up is Nocturns right now. Abyss have the chance to pincer this out, trading out 1-for-1. Very alone is Hecate, and he's going to fall.
Yeah, Hecate falling there could be a big problem for Nocturns. Now Makoa in trouble too. They're all pushed back 99%. Eevee's on the point, but Eevee will fall as well. And now Cassie's zoning in the front line. Buck as well. Battletoad gets in, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay alive for very long.
No, he falls almost immediately, scouting out the rest of Nocturns. Will be joshkent now rolling forward, very aggressive on this Cassie. Pop shot onto the high ground, poking out the Eevee immediately. Ice block is going to be on cooldown should joshkent choose to go aggressive.
That's right, and now Nocturns need to defend here. They need to hold these choke points. Their first one is right here, so this is going to be critical. And I think they need to get those picks. Around the left-hand side, you can see Fernando in a bit of trouble. And Buck, though, he's pushing in, but Ruckus, a cursed arm coming out, and it's gonna find a double, a triple coming down, and Nocturnes just wipes Abyss off the map in an instant.
Now this is where this triple flank composition is gonna come into play. Can they spread out, finding dismounts, finding the forward zone onto Abyss? Haydz is spotted out. That shield is going to be on cooldown as Hecate was able to chew through that one here. Big grouping from Abyss, though, on this flank. Haydz takes out Godman. Need to be careful not to trigger too much into this Nocturnes. Very low, very squishy with this triple flank composition.
That's right. I think Abyss just deathballing up is the correct decision. Now Maldamba doing damage and finding a kill, but will fall for it as Hecate comes around the back. joshkent is low on that Cassie, but he's going to stay alive as Nocturnes is regrouping. Great decision here. They need to go in as a team. If they get picked off now, it could just push all the way in, but it's a great stun coming out from Joelz, and now pushing forward. Abyss are taking the fight.
Kicking this team fight off from the top is going to be Hexafire on the payload, making the death card. Planet's going to find one. Shell shield coming out, but won't last long. Out of the air, trying to find the shot. Ancient Rage will provide stabilization for it now. Battletoad landing the dredge anchor on the Haydz, but the Immortal is going to keep everyone from Abyss alive for now.
Excellent timing on that Immortal, and now excellent timing on Ruckus just doing damage. Buck dives in, but he gets lit up, and it's 3 kills coming out real quick. Another spray as Kronicx is feeling confident and Abyss is feeling themselves as they go up 2-0.
Insert between Ruckus laying down fully spun up and a Planet is not where you want your team to be. Nocturnes were just chewed through so quickly and spat out. Abyss go up 2-0. Leading the net worth chart is going to be Haydz. Joelz on Shaolin. Kronicx on the Ruckus doing a great job once again.
Yeah, man, that Ruckus is just so strong for Abyss, and this tells me that they've got multiple ways to play, right? That wasn't just some sort of cheese they're doing. They know this strategy inside and out. So going into later matches, going into their match against Burrito, assuming they win this set, and it's looking good right now, I can't wait to see what Abyss does there. But let's focus on these games. Let's focus on the objective time. Absolute dominance from Abyss. They've just been completely controlling the objective. Those tanks are not moving off the cart or off the point.
All 5 members grouped up from Abyss. Straight to the point is going to be the call. Grouped up, not utilizing that mobility. Ruckus is going to hack a heck of a time hacking through all of this. A big Dread Serpent hits all 5 members of Nocturnes Gaming, and Abyss are all but mopping up the remnants of that team fight. It was over so quick.
All it took was that Dread Serpent. You've got enough damage on the rest of the roster to just clean everyone up. And I think Nocturnes had a critical misplay there. They grouped up against a Death Ball composition, and they just can't win that fight head-to-head. Death Ball to Death Ball, it's going to be Abyss every time.
Cursed Arm trying to come out there. Abyss capture the point immediately, but still finding kills without any response is Abyss. Mitigated out was that Accursed Arm by the repulsive field. Joelz was happy to blast Hecate out of the sky. 2 minutes remain on the push. Abyss have the chance to close out game number 2 and go up 2-0 over Nocturnes.
Yeah, and honestly, Nocturns might not be able to hold them off with this draft. Maybe they can make this game last longer, but I don't see the victory in sight. Abyss sees their victory in sight as on the left-hand side, joshkent is zoning out Hecate, who needs to go big in these games. He's a huge carrying force for Nocturns, and he could find this kill. It's going to be close, dashing around, goes Ziggs, and he will get the kill. Great play from Hecate, but Abyss, they're still pushing forward.
Missing a lot of shots there, joshkent, and falling down, and now Hekate's got the angle on his backline. Able to find 3 kills. Hecate falls, though. So much to stand. The Immortal kept everyone alive there. Another great play from Haydz, sitting at 9-2 on this Fernando. He is having a lights-out performance. These 2 tanks on colossal streaks. So any shutdown here is going to provide a lot of ultimate charge to Nocturns.
That's right, and now as Abyss moves in, we see Joelz is very low. Blinking in, Eevee finds the kill, Klauzinho with 2. Nocturns might be able to hold this off. They just got to take down this Fernando. 1 minute left on the clock, though, so they're going to have to hold maybe even 2 more times.
Big shutdown there for Klauzinho. Bumps up to 80% on his charge for Ice Storm. Hexafire, Heat Haze, all available here. What I'd like to see from Abyss is just one more clean attempt at trying to capture them without spending too much and just guarantee themselves a win in the next capture point fight.
That's right, but Makoa a little far forward, does take a lot of shield damage for no cost, so his shell shield is down, and he could be in trouble. Do have Ancient Rage available, and it will be used. Going aggressive, swinging the anchor around, but no kills have come out yet.
Absolutely, Cursed Arm from the high ground there. Doesn't find any kills. Big shutdown from Kronicx. Double kill for the Ruckus player. joshkent finds one. Joelz finds one. Cleaning up. Nocturns Gaming rolling forward 14 seconds, but I don't even think it's going to take that long. Here's the final few feet are closed for Abyss. Another 4-0. From down under.
You know, I think 4-0 is misrepresentative of how well Nocturns played that game. They're playing up against a very, very good opposing team. It's just the problem that they make one small mistake, right? They grouped up to fight, but they weren't in a really good position. They were sort of spread out. They were like up and down these stairs. They didn't have a place to move. So they fought head to head. They clashed with the ultimate death ball from Abyss, and they're not going to win that fight.
Absolutely not. They were punished so badly for grouping up with that Dread Serpent. They drafted 3 flanks and then clumped up. They're just not playing to the strengths of their composition, whereas Abyss have shown a great ability to do so. They're playing exactly the composition that they're looking to draft here. Just trying to get these comfort picks. It might just be all the flanks, and it didn't really work out.
Abyss was playing their strategy every time. But we did see Nocturns respond to it a few times. They'd group up, and then they'd split up, surround the death ball, and choke it in from all sides, and get awesome kills. Hecate going big that game. Fariul starting off with a triple on Ying, and actually doing fairly good damage. 24,000 is pretty good. This was a shorter match, as it was 4-0 in favor of Abyss. But honestly, I think it's strategy that is the big difference between these 2 teams. I think Abyss are just, they know their drafts better, and they're playing them better. They're executing them better. In terms of raw player skill, though, Nocturns is swinging hard.
Yeah, the map, I think, favored Abyss's team comp a little bit more as well. This death ball so effective. You saw how tight some of these corridors are leading into the fight. So whether or not the plan was to group up, Nocturns were forced to all funnel through that small doorway. And shout outs to Alston for being there in position with the Dread Serpent. So much more healing, though, beating out Fariul by about 20,000 and not but 2,000 behind on the damage. So just out supported. You got to give a shout out to the support for being there, hitting the huge ultimates. Crowd control and healing is their job.
That's right. But earlier on, you said that map favored Abyss's draft. Let's check out the next map, because that's a great way that Nocturns can change up their game plan. Look for a map that can favor them more, and Serpent Beach is a great option, right? It's very, very neutral in terms of what compositions are good and what are bad. You can play nearly anything here as long as you play to your strengths.
There are sight lines. There's a lot of high ground surrounding the points of triple flank. It's going to be brought out anywhere. If that's really what Nocturns are comfortable with, this wouldn't be the worst place to bring it out. We're going to have to see what Abyss elect to go into. They've looked so strong. Nocturns taking the Eevee away from joshkent, but he had a pretty impressive game on the Cassie there, and Drox's play is also there. So a lot of flexibility coming out for one of the big role players from Abyss.
That's right, and I think it's been proven now, if you're just taking the EV away from joshkent to take the EV away from joshkent, it's not worth it. He can play other things at a very high level. So if Klauzinho does have a pick that he feels more confident on than Eevee, now's the time to use it. We mentioned Drogoz, we mentioned Bomb King. We need the blasters to go big, because that was a big point in that last match. 5 Havens from Abyss means they don't think Eevee is a problem, and honestly, she wasn't.
Yeah, a lot of lack of blaster play here, despite what I thought going into a LAN environment with low ping. I guess it's just teams are used to not really relying on those projectile characters too much, being used to online where there is ping, especially Abyss scrimming these opponents as they are so far away geographically from the rest of them. But everyone on Abyss is so terrifying. Haydz' Fernando is good on all fronts. Beautiful support ultimates coming out from Maldama in the previous game. Joelz on anything long range you put him on is absolutely a precision monster.
That said, I'm just looking at the Nocturns players right now. They seem to be in good spirits, which is what I want to see. You need fortitude as you're going through these matches. And, you know, one of the big things about Serpent Beach is the payload push. It's got, I want to say, relatively few choke points. You've got that first gateway, and you've got the final turn, but between there, it's not really that easily defended.
Right, a lot of high ground surrounding it, though. Serpent Beach, known to be one of the favorite maps from a lot of players. Very good front to back, left to right. Beautiful job by Thomas Holt and the team to get this map looking beautiful for the Invitational tournament. And a lot of high ground throughout the payload push is kind of something that is lacking in a lot of other maps, where you look at something like Fishing Village, where it's just kind of that Highlander D-Day style hill where they just have to fight their way up and hope for the best. It is pretty hype.
Yeah, it's a good hill. Serpent Beach, though, it also does have a hill. As you're climbing into the enemy base, you're going up, and they're usually shooting down on you, so you have to be careful. This is a map where if you play it right, it can be fairly easy to defend those payload pushes, but going into that sort of play, maybe looking to get your items online, right? So, oh, we're going to play defensive, we're going to hold off the payload pushes, we're going to get a lot of credits by killing them on the defense and then win in the final round. It can work very well on this map, but it's also risky because if you push just right, it can go by very quickly.
Absolutely. Defensive itemization was kind of the key point there from Abyss. They went immediately to all 5 Havens there, like you mentioned. Not really worried about Eevee, but a lot of international teams just refusing to bring out other blasters.
Well, you know, let's talk about Haven real quick. We've mentioned it, but I think it does require some explanation. There are 2 defensive items that we primarily see used. You have Haven, which reduces the damage you take from direct sources of damage, such as arrows from Cassie and Shaolin. You have Blast Shield, which reduces the damage you take from Blast Shields and Haven, which reduces the damage you take from AoE blasts, which is very good against mitigating Eevee and Drogoz, but you see them less.
Definitely here. And that's just surprising me. So much double frontliner focus here, but such a lack of Drogoz, and even Pip. Teams not wanting to go with that. There was even a recent change to Pip's ultimate. Can you talk us through a little bit about what exactly happened there?
So Pip's ultimate now goes completely through shield. So you've got a team that's grouping up and using Fernando and Makoa, and they've got shields inside of shields. You throw out that Pip ult, it's going to go through, and it's going to turn all of them into chickens with 1,500 health for quite a long period of time. Let's see if we do see something crazy like Pip as we head into the champion draft. Nocturns with their backs against the wall. They are down 2 games against Abyss.
And what can they do? We'll have to see. First pick, Nocturns locking the Fernando. Love to see it. Forcing Haydz out of his comfort zone. What else is he going to do? He's smiling at me. Looks like he's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Makoa taking that away from BattleToad. They're like, all right, you want to move out of your comfort? Move us out of our comfort zone? We'll take you out of yours. No more Eevee, no more Makoa. Abyss are just saying, all right, let's do it. Let's tango. Let's go.
Let's see if Haydz can play the Makoa. We know Josh is a superstar on the Eevee. Shaolin hovered right now for Nocturns, and Androxus picked up as well. So need to be careful going forward. Is Abyss for pressure from it. The Ruckus could come out here. This is a very good option against this Androxus. It's also picking Androxus into Makoa. The Dredge Anchor goes straight through reversal there.
Yeah, it
so
does.
Abyss really have the chance to abuse this pick coming out of Nocturns.
That's right. And, you know, not seeing the Ruckus here shows me that Nocturns don't want to play that style. But Abyss don't seem to either, unless they're saving it for a last pick, because we've got Cassie and Grover maybe joining us in the fray, locked in. So bless up yet again. The Church of Grover lives on in Game 3 of Nocturns versus Abyss Esports Club.
And I like this pickup here. It's a good follow-up to Makoa Dredge Anchor is the crippling throw from Grover, but hovering on the side of Nocturns is going to be Drogoz, and Ying switched out from Aldama. Drogo still being thought on. Could be a good look here, and he's locked in. Ruckus still on the table, but no healer, or no, well, Grover is there going to be their support likely here. Ruckus might not be picked up here. This will be only the second time in the tournament.
I like the Drogoz here. It's very good against Makoa. You can one-shot her.
Abyss are laughing right now, hovering this. I think they might. No, they're going to go for the Kinessa.
It's going to be the Kinessa. I'm really excited to see Joelz on that, but I'm also excited to see this Drogoz with Dragon's Fury. You can one-shot Makoa regardless of whether or not he's in Ancient Rage, and he has a hard time avoiding it. Not only that, but it's a great source of AoE damage, and I think it's honestly pretty good against Eevee because you can fill so much space with that Fire Spit detonation.
Yep, Kinessa, a very good last pick, I think, from Abyss. Joelz has been pinpoint with this character thus far today, and Drogoz a little bit weaker now against Kinessa as he is slower moving through the air. Joel's going to have not a very tough time taking him out of the sky. Whose comp, though, do you like on paper?
You know, I'm excited for Abyss because I love watching Joelz play Kinessa and I want more of it, but this map is not going to be as easy for him as Fish Market and Frozen Guard were. Both of those maps have a fairly big no man's land where it's just sort of an open field that Kinessa can take huge advantage of. Here, it's a little bit more tight. It's a little bit more compact, so she's going to have to play closer up. I think Joelz is capable of it, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe maneuvering around those previous maps were.
I'll have to see. The big question mark here for me is Makoa. Who is going to be playing this on Abyss? Is Haydz going to flex somewhere else on the map? No more speculation. It's time to get into the game for what could be the final series. Make some noise for Abyss, the Thunder from down under. Joelz on Kinessa, Kronicx on Cassie. Haydz is going to be playing that Makoa. Alston on Grover, and joshkent back on Eevee.
But the hope of Latin America, Nocturns Gaming, Hecate on Shaolin, Godman on Drogoz, Fariul on Maldamba, Battletoad playing Fernando, and Klauzinho on Androxus. Oh, a big pull on the Godman. He's not dead yet, but he is low, getting healed up. And once again, first blood going to Nocturns, 3 out of 3 games.
A big answer here from Abyss, finding 4 of Nocturns Gaming. Battletoad, the final to fall. Now in control of the point is Abyss with 21% already going.
And with this long-range threat, it's going to be very hard to retake. So, you know, Nocturns needs to start thinking about their defense. Honestly, sure, it's at 60%, right? But Kinessa is so good from this position.
Yep, no threats to her just yet. Godman picking up Kronicx, however, off to the right flank with that Drogoz. Nice long shot, softening up Shaolin. He'll need to retreat for the time. Godman finds another kill, but Kinessa under no pressure, free firing into Nocturns Gaming, able to pick up Battletoad. Now under pressure from Drogoz, 118 health. Left to her name, healing up a little bit with that transporter restore, but Godman is ripping apart Abyss with this Drogoz.
That's right, the Drogoz coming up big, using Salvo to just push people back, fill some space with those rockets, and now ticking up, getting that point time. Nocturns Gaming looking to maybe capture this point for one of the second time in the set.
Spotted out. It's going to be Godman. Headhunter is popped right now. No one's paying attention to Godman in the backline. It's time for Joelz to go big, but shut down by Drogoz. You cannot sleep on the Dragon in a bit of a weird spot. Little awkward interaction there as both of those guys are going to retreat to the moonlight, and now back on the point. Godman doesn't even need the Dragon Punch. Makoa is going to fall to a Salvo.
That's right, Salvo picking up that kill, and now Abyss is on the defense. Nocturns Gaming have captured the objective. Abyss defending for the second time this set, and I think they've realized that they need to deal with Godman.
Dragon Punch is available. Makoa going to be poked out very low again. Won't even need it. Force him away. I'm making great use of Salvo here. Godman using that ability more than I've ever seen him. Puck trading out, kill for kill right now. 2 minutes remain on the payload. Finding the shots mid-air as Kronicx takes him out. Joelz credited with the final blow for that one.
Yeah, you know, I do like the salvo use. He's just sort of appearing for a short period of time, getting those rockets off and disappearing instead of staying in the fight. But Abyss have been able to stabilize. They have taken up defensive positions. Nocturns has to push in as a group, get back on this cart, and keep pushing.
Great positioning here from Kronicx. Potential Ice Storm coming out here from joshkent. Immortal is going to cancel out any further aggression. Blink onto the high ground, picks up Klauzinho in style now. Turns his sights to the support. Fariul under pressure, 167. There's a big direct impact. Soaring in for the kill is going to be joshkent. He finds it. Joelz picks up Hecate. Abyss, now with their feet back under them, are forced in this defensive position.
And at this point, Nocturns Gaming needs to start thinking about their ultimates. Hecate 9%, Klauzinho 10%, BATTLETOAD 17%, up against 2 already charged. Kness is close. The next round could be very, very difficult.
Great angle here for joshkent to go into the back line. Looks like he wants to take it just yet. Blinks onto the high ground. Headhunter comes out. Kronicx and Joelz, big long range threats. Crazy line of sights. Kronicx with the quadra kill on the Nocturns Gaming. This Cassie is absolutely slaughtering them. One more for Kronicx. Can he find it with the spray there? Clean sweep for the Australian.
Kronicx consistently playing well, consistently having clutch plays, and consistently showing off those sprays. I love it. But now Nocturns, they got one last shot. An amazing slither to get back on the map, and now Kronicx could be in trouble. Ooh. He wasn't ready for that one. Pushing forward is Fernando back on the cart, and we should see it overtime here.
A little bit split up right now into reversal. Has the Ancient Rage available to him should he need it. Haydz falling lower and lower on the point. No other options here, but the Ancient Rage just barely able to get behind Grover, keeping himself alive. Look at this positioning from the Knessa player. The absolute pincer coming out of Abyss right now. Once again, picked apart in the final team fight is Nocturns.
Man, Joel's positioning is just so good. It's now 1-to-1. Net worth highest in the game on the sniper. He's got 1,300 credits to spend. Top damage dealt. You just can't let him play like this, man. He's got to be shut down non-stop.
He's got his Cassie Kronicx, I feel, babysitting him a little bit in the back line, keeping everyone at bay. Klauzinho has not been able to get to him. Being crushed in the healing charts is Grover. However, the cauterized one's online for them. A little bit spread out team fighting coming through here from Nocturns. They need to group up. They need to get their feet back under them. They'll have the chance to do so, all tied up, heading out 1-to-1.
Moving forward in today's games, I just feel like Joelz, if he's going to play Knessa, you have to have someone hunting him and just one-shotting him, as he's going to do so much damage. But here, positioning defensively, trying to stay alive, it's joshkent going aggressive. Klauzinho will fall. Kronicx picking up that kill, and Abyss, while they lose someone, they are fortifying the point.
Fire spit pressure is going to be extremely effective on the point. Dropping another pick. There's the Ancient Rage, batted out of the sky by Joelz and Haydz. The Drogos takes a tumble. Dredge Anchor not going to be good onto the high ground, but totally in control of this fight. Totally in control of the point as Abyss now climbing north of 50%.
That's right, and with 60% already done, it's going to be one more attempt for Nocturns. We saw them actually capture a point at this stage in the last round. Can they do it again? I don't know, because Joelz, he's got his Headhunter, and if he can get some big kills, it's going to be a good hold.
Takes the Drogos out immediately. Headhunter is popped, looking for the support, trying to take Androxus out of the sky, misses one, but then finds him. Klauzinho, though, took 2 down with him. Nocturns buys the amount of time they need, 96% for Abyss, but the total shutdown from Nocturns, and they're clawing their way back in this one.
Yet again, Nocturns somehow get the contest and the recontrol of the point right when Abyss is about to capture. Now on the right side though, Fernando is in trouble. He's very low and uses Immortal to save himself, but he's not going to be able to save anyone else. Makoa could be in a lot of trouble. No, going for the sniper and getting Joelz off the table. That's a great use of the Dragon's Fury because he's just so good on that Knessa.
Picked out of the sky though by Grover. Nocturns cleaning up on the point. It's going to be a 1v1 between Grover and
Alston.
Fernando on the point. Grover, bless up. It's the triple kill for the tree and the capture for Abyss.
You never underestimate Grover. Don't catch your trees before they hatch, because Nocturns, they're like, all right, we got this. Just a sport. And he gets a triple. 1v3. Who cares?
I see one single tear dropping from Joe's face right now in the audience. One of our developers loves Grover, so he's very excited to see his boy doing well here. I'm very excited to see Grover doing well here. Kate, though, gonna take a spill. Kronicx with a chance to go big. He's got a lot of pressure on him now. joshkent comes soaring in to help him.
That's right, but the big damage coming out from Godman, getting pulled into trouble and taking down Alston yet again, is just performing so well on this pick. BATTLETOAD able to pick up Kronicx. He's going to fall as well. And now pushing forward, Abyss Gaming. This looks like they're going to capture this.
Alston is making it easy for a support highlight reel this game, playing every support.
Are you sure it's a support highlight reel? I think it's a killing reel.
Triple kill. Timbermill here, just coming through, hacking all the competition. Spots out the flank, though, from Fernando. Abyss are going to be able to collapse on this, and it's going to be a rough start to this fight for Nocturns, dropping BATTLETOAD so early.
Yeah, beautiful rotation, but BATTLETOAD is not as sneaky as we saw Wardoom yesterday. Now in the center of the fight, Hecate will fall. Up in the air, Klauzinho, he's low as well, and it's a one-for-one trade as Godman picks up that one. Looks like Nocturns has actually managed to hold their ground for now, and it's just the Makoa that's causing trouble.
Haydz.
Causing big trouble as he's getting aggressive with the Ancient Raid.
Bringing the thunder with the anchor, swinging it wildly. Will stay alive for the time being. Joelz is here. Immortal comes out. Haydz still alive. His team reinforces him in time. Nicely timed shot out of Immortal. Joelz will take down BATTLETOAD once again. joshkent picking up Klauzinho. Godman just now shutting down Haydz, but Joelz taking point on this push. We saw top play of 2016 come out from Lemonade in this exact position. Could Joelz go huge here?
He certainly could. We've seen him have a lot of potential, but I think it's Kronicx who is stealing his thunder. Now getting aggressive and pushing in. Alston finding a kill. There's one member left, and he's going to fall to a headshot from Joelz. Now Godman up in the air, he's taken down from a headshot, and it's just more and more damage pouring out from this Abyss lineup.
Joelz with a double kill. Joelz with 3 now, inches to conversion. Don't even need the overtime, just for good measure. Joelz blasts Klauzinho out of the sky, still raging at the top of the net worth chart.
That was just very important ultimate charging, you know? You just got to get that ultimate charge at the end of the round.
He's already back to 40%.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, look at those streaks. Look at the way Abyss is playing. They're up 3-1. They've yet again been able to push a payload all the way through. They just need to capture the point, and Joelz is carrying from this sniper role. There's no one from Nocturns to really get to him, man. And it's a great last pick, right? We're going to play Kinesso. We feel like you don't have anyone who can punish it, so let's go. But you gotta be prepared for this, right? Like, you gotta know that Joelz is looking to play this Kinesso every game he thinks he can get away with it.
Everyone from Abyss on streaks right now, looking like a 4-1 split here. joshkent looking to mix things up in the backline of Nocturns. Little fadeaway transporter. Nice reposition from Joelz, finding one shot. Finds the headshot. One more, and a Trogos will do it. He's going to find it with ease, and another one. Headshots dropping all over the map from Joelz on a 10 streak right now. Grover repositioning to his Kinesso, trying to keep her safe. Kronicx in a bad spot. Needs one more. He's going to find it. Roll isn't good. Disengage will create some space. Only 2 members remain from Nocturns Gaming. Make it 1.
Nocturns having a lot of trouble this time as Joelz cleans up another kill. He's going to actually fall, but Grover is here to help his team out. Makoa turtling up on the point, taking some damage, but joshkent, he's going to go in. He's going to get some damage before he retreats and flanks around the other side.
Godman landing that dragon punch onto Haydz, taking him down immediately, the turtle, but still forced out of this is Nocturne. So many shots, so much damage from Kronicx. There's the accursed arm from Klauzinho. Heat haze coming from Shaolin as well. This man can't be stopped on the backline, finally taken down by Hecate, but Joelz has returned. He's ready to lock things down with the headhunter. Dredge anchor comes out. A lot of pressure from Klauzinho. He's going to find Joelz early into planted. Nocturnes back in control.
That's right. Joelz was pressured and Joelz was killed. Nocturnes now getting their point time up. joshkent not going to go in just yet. He's only harassing, but expect to see Abyss go in hard around 95%. They need to get on that point. They need to get on it now, and they're contesting. Mako on the point. He's swinging wildly. He pulls in Hecate, but can't quite find the kill. Kronicx will clean it up, and now Nocturns, they're starting to fall.
Abyss have the chance to close things out here. 84% and climbing. joshkent with the zoning Ice Storm deep in the backline. One member from Nocturns is here to contest, but not in time is the Drogos. Abyss cleaning things up, taking their second set of the day. All smiles on these guys' faces as they are in a now great position to make it out of this group and into the semifinals.
Man, we have seen Abyss play so well today. They're going to have some time to rest. Burrito will be playing Nocturns next. But after that, they go up against Burrito, and they've honestly got a chance for 3-0 the Dream.
Absolutely. All have fallen except Burrito to Abyss right now. Could it be the Dream sweep coming out from the Australians right now? Nocturns just discussing a little bit. They have a lot left in front of them. They still have 2 more games left to play. They look strong. They could potentially look to take a game off of the now morale broken Eager.
Yeah, you know, I think Nocturns have a really good shot here. They've played so well in this set. Yes, it was 3-0 a sweep, but I think they played as well, if not better, than Eager. I mean, they just did very well in holding off against Abyss. They played their hit. They got their shots right. I am not even remotely disappointed with this team.
Jeez, Joelz sitting at 90,000 damage, almost doubling a lot of the numbers coming out from Nocturns in that game. Kronicx, even with the delayed pentakill, still 15,000 damage behind the sniper. Just no pressure, 7 deaths, rivaling that of joshkent on that high mobility, good sustain Eevee. A lot of consistent objective time numbers coming out from Abyss. The big one there going to be Haydz camping out on Makoa. Just lights out play from everyone on Abyss.
Yeah, but still, man, Nocturns really gave Abyss a run for their money. It was not a free set. They played very well. And in their next set against Burrito, well, let's take a look at the schedule and see where we're going next. You know, Nocturns, man, I don't know. You can't sleep on this team.
Burrito, the juggernaut out of Europe. The almost perfect online record coming in. They have a big statement to make here, though, as they are the team that choked on LAN after having a near perfect online record before, looking to get their feet wet here against Nocturns Gaming. Can they get it done? A lot of big names on that team. Lazy Bird, Theo, Spunky, Sun Commander. He's going to be subbing out Croter, filling in his shoes, as Sun Commander did run into a little bit of visa issues that has been plaguing some of these teams.
That's right. We did actually see another sub coming in yesterday, though, and Unbelievable was maybe the highlight player for D69. We could certainly see that again, right? And there is an added advantage for Burrito that their sub plays the same role as the person he's filling in for. So hopefully for them, it's going to be plug and play. They're going to come in hot, and we're going to see a really good set. But, you know, once again, you can't sleep on Nocturns, man. They are good. They're the real deal.
Absolutely. Speaking of plug and play, that's all you got to do once you link your Twitch account. Just link that up at hirezstudios.com/link. And then just hanging out in the chat will give you the chance to receive all kinds of cool in-game rewards and stuff like that. But that's not all we've got going on for you. We have a little in-game treat for you in theme of the event.
That's right. Check out the Paladins store for the digital loot pack, where you can get some pretty cool 2017 swagger. You can see that convention ying in the front. That'll be you know, something you get as reward for conventions all throughout the year. But the Fernando and Victor, they're limited time only. They've got cool MVP poses, and they're just to commemorate HRX specifically and the Paladins Invitational Tournament.
Yeah, those sprays, you know, we saw Kronicx spraying their
repping the sprays.
You want to look good on your top plays. You want to show everyone that you're one of the dangerous OGs of Paladins. That's going to do it here for Abyss and myself for now. We're going to be very excited to bring you the set between Burrito and Nocturns coming up after the break.
Hey,